When you hear the word active, what comes to your mind is something that is lean or athletic, or if you consider the microactive, then something of a stripped down variant. But if you're considering the i20, the active here is a puffed up version of the hatchback. It joins the party of other hatchbacks that wear such padded suits, like the Etios Cross and the Avventura that you see here. Speaking of padded suits, the Etios Cross is the best example here because the similar Cross Polo decided to sit out of this comparison. The Etios Cross wears some plastic cladding all around but gets a pair of roof rails as well and has a massive bull bar up front. The Avventura on the other hand takes more effort in differentiating itself from the hatchback that it is based on. For starters, it sits on a higher ride height, wears unique alloys and has beefier bumpers for the go anywhere stance. This one too gets the all-round cladding, but highlights its SUV ambitions with a spare wheel mounted on the boot lid. As we have said this multiple times, it looks good but is more form than function. The i20 Active achieves a midway here. Like the Fiat, it sits higher than its hatchback sibling. It gets completely redesigned bumpers with an inverted grille, 4 scuff plates and large round fog lamps. The rear bumper follows a similar theme with round reflectors. Adding further distinction are the roof rails and the satin finished fuel filler cap. Compared to the Elite i20, it also gets LED DRLs, projector headlamps and cornering lamps. They also provided the best illumination in this test. The cabins of all these cars are similar to their hatchback siblings, save for different color schemes. The Etios Cross gets an all-black treatment, but the cabin looks too plasticky and fragile like the rest of the car. The Avventura on the other hand feels better built, and I like the minimalist layout of the dashboard. The materials that fall at hand feel good to touch, but the plastics used in the lower part of the dash or for the door knobs feel tacky. The i20 Active's cabin is similar to the Elite i20's cabin in terms of the layout and the design, but depending on what exterior color you choose, you'll also get a different interior color. So you have either an orange or a blue as your options. This one has the latter and I'm not too sure if I like it. But the fit and finish is top notch, so much so that it makes the other two cabins, the Avventura and the Etios Cross, feel a little outdated. Even the controls are all very ergonomic. Everything falls easily at hand. The steering, the dashboard, it's not set too high like in the Avventura. So the visibility for shorter drivers shouldn't be a problem at all. And the instrumentation is also quite easy to read. It's quite clear. Not like the Etios Cross where you have to take your eyes off the road to look at the center console for the instrumentation. So that's a good safety aspect as well. Apart from the bolt-on audio and telephony unit and the cool glove box, the Etios Cross hardly has anything to boast about. The Avventura has the clinometers for its party trick, but loses out on some basics like Bluetooth audio streaming and enough storage space for bottles, gadgets and knickknacks. The i20 Active outclasses the other two with stuff like automatic headlamps, a parking camera, memory storage for the audio system, etc. The boot of the Active is also the largest in this test and the easiest to load. Even the ingress and egress is easier in the Active. The Etios has a flat rear bench that can accommodate 3 adults with ease, but the inclusion of rear AC vents make the rear seats of the Avventura and the Active the better places to be in, with the latter getting an edge with better space. The i20 Active carries forward the same engine options from the Elite i20, but to compensate for that extra weight that you have from the cladding and all the additional equipment, the tuning is different. So if you drive the two petrols, the i20 and the i20 Active, you will not notice much of a difference, but in the diesels, if you drive them back to back, you will notice that the mid-range and the low end is slightly better in the i20 Active. But that said, the low end in the i20 Active feels a little too jerky for my preference. So that will definitely need a little getting used to. The engine in the Etios Cross has a linear power delivery, but has a gravelly note that highlights the age of the technology that powers it. The Avventura only gets the range-topping 90 PS engines. The diesel engine in this test managed a not 200 kmph sprint in 15.6 seconds, which was the slowest of the lot. The i20 Active was the quickest. The clutch pedal on the Etios Cross has to be the heaviest in this test and the Avventura the lightest. But then the gear throws or the throws for the gear shifter on the Avventura are really long. Comparatively, the Etios Cross has short and precise throws. Even the i20 Active has short throws, but the clutch pedal is really snappy. The clutch feels very snappy, and that needs a little getting used to. The brakes on the Etios Cross are progressive, but the skittish feedback from the tires could get a tad unnerving. That said, Toyota offers ABS and airbags as a standard fitment across the Cross range. But while it is good fun to drive, the Etios Cross just doesn't give you that feel-good factor. The Avventura, on the other hand, will keep the Fiat fanboys happy, but to make a serious statement away from its styling, it desperately needs a generation change. The i20 Active easily tramples over them with better value and styling. The Cross theme seems to have caught the consumer's fancy because we're already getting queries about the possibility of a Swift Cross or maybe even a more rugged version of the Bolt. But concentrating on the three cars that we have at hand here, if you look at their hatchback counterparts, you will realize that the Etios Leva or the Punto aren't really fast-moving goods. The Elite i20 trumps them with better quality, better fit and finish, a longer equipment list, and even a stronger sales and service network. And it is for these very virtues that the i20 Active is the winner of our test. The Etios Cross seems a little low rent in comparison, and the Avventura feels a little inconsistent with what it is set out to do. So now the question is, should you buy the i20 Active over the Elite i20? Now that additional money is going to buy you the distinctive styling, a little more kit, and is going to equip this car better to tackle potholes, stone chips, and even bumper-to-bumper traffic. So in that regard, it could make sense. But if you want to fulfill your ambitions of buying an SUV with the constraint of this price bracket, then I recommend that you rather look at the EcoSport or look in the used car market for a Renault Duster or a Nissan Terrano.